Hello, my name's Malin. At the moment I'm feeling quite buggered because I've just been working a lot, haven't been spending enough time doing the things that I love or like taking care of myself properly. It's just all been kind of like focused on work, making sure everything else is kind of alright, and then just sleeping and then waking up and doing work basically. And anyway, that's kind of like my own problem. That's just how I'm feeling at the moment. I realized basically that I have to continue making these videos because it's something that makes me happy, and I've still been coming up with a lot of these ideas. Like, I'm never out of content ideas. I always have ideas. So that's why I want to keep making videos, and I gotta make sure that I'm actually doing these videos because I have all these ideas. I just need to do the videos for them. So here I am. Anyway, we'll talk about that more in another video. This video is called Why You're So Judgmental. And I'm a really judgmental person. Like, I have very high standards for myself. You know, being the firstborn, you kind of have the standards really high set on yourself. You're expected to do quite a lot. And I find in myself that I have this really big immediate judgment of people. I just like look at people in immediate judgment. I'm like, oh, they're eating that. Oh, they're doing that. Oh, they look like that. Oh, these people didn't brush their hair properly or whatever. And then it's kind of ironic because when I look at myself in these videos, or if I were to see myself like in public, just like separate, and see myself outside of myself, I'd be like, oh, that guy, what the fuck's up with his hair? Like, he's trying to grow it out. It just looks kind of goofy, and he's just like, he's just a weirdo. Anyway, that's a good thing to kind of see it as, you know, just kind of this kind of funny thing. But you know, like, these kind of external judgments, like seeing everyone external and just having them different, like, oh, these people are weird, these people are weird, these people are bad, you know, for doing these kind of things, you know, they're like judgments, and it's just putting a cage on them. You're like locking them into that kind of area, and you're not being open and expressive to people and to yourself as well, because all of these judgments that you make on other people are just unconscious beliefs that are just hiding inside of you, that are secretly at work in your own mind, you know? Like, the judgments that you have on other people are just reflections of yourself. Like, you will see what you think and what you believe. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like, our view and our perspective really does have a big impact on that, and that puts a lot of responsibility on us as individuals, and that can feel quite daunting and scary to kind of accept. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to go into the sides of judgment. So the benefits to ourselves of being like judgmental is that we have kind of higher standards for people. You know, we're like, oh, like, you should be up to this par, you should be up to this bar, you should be taking better care of yourself, you should be looking good, otherwise, like, I'm just not going to fucking deal with you or deal with you properly or talk to you properly, whatever. But, you know, these high standards are a double-edged sword, you know, it can swing both ways. It can harm someone else, or it could harm you. Or it could just cut down a tree. Sorry, I'm a bit wacky today. Anyway, it's a double-edged sword because having high standards for yourself sometimes makes you feel like you're never good enough, and that you always have to reach these standards, and sometimes they can be quite impossible to reach. And, you know, that feels very, very daunting. And, you know, the downsides of being judgmental, like I mentioned before, is that you can be really locked into other people. You can be really blocked from connecting to other people, you know. Like, if you immediately make a judgment on someone based on how they look or what they do, then you're just closing yourself up to another interaction. And it doesn't mean like this person's gonna be the love of your life, or they're like gonna be like your best friend or whatever. But just being closed off to people makes you feel really lonely. And I've experienced this a lot. Like, the more judgmental I was, the less connected to other people I felt, the more lonely I felt, and the more kind of separate I felt to everyone in the world. And that's a really kind of sad state to kind of be in. And so how you kind of deal with these judgmental things is, it's not that they're a bad thing, you know. Like, these things, it's not a bad thing to have judgments about other people, you know. Sometimes they come up for a reason. It doesn't mean like you should be like accepting people as they are when it's like this clear slob that doesn't really give a fuck about what you're doing and they just want to bring you down like crabs in a bucket. Why do I always go to extremes? I need to stop doing that. Anyway, so the way, oh my god, my books just like kind of fell down a little bit. Off my notes. Yeah, let's open this. Fine then. Take you off, okay? Just some notes. You shut off, but it also having high expectations for other people makes them set the bar higher. So you're like, oh, like you could be doing a lot better, you know. And if you do this in a positive way and you connect to people and say like, I see that you're not doing well, I see how you're kind of doing this, you know, why don't we talk about that, because I know that you can be doing better. And I think that's what people want, you know, they want to feel connected, they want to feel seen for the real person they are, not for these kind of masks and these kind of faces that they put on for people or whatever. And so the way, I just laughing at myself looking at the notes. So the way to kind of deal with this is just to kind of be neutral about it in this middle area, not to get too caught up in these judgments when they happen, but not to like say, oh, I shouldn't be judgmental, I shouldn't be making any judgments, I shouldn't be feeling this or seeing this at all. Because it's okay that these things come and they are going to keep coming. All you can kind of do is just become aware of it and go, oh, here it is, and then it will pass away like a cloud, you know. It's kind of like meditation. That's basically what it's kind of like. That's what I'm trying to tell you, is that you should be kind of like, not trying to fight it, because the more you try and fight it, the more it's going to become a problem and the more frustrated with it you're going to get, because it's something that kind of naturally arises as human nature. And the best war is won with battles without the opponent actually knowing that it's a fight. So rather than you trying to fight these judgments and trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna beat these judgments, they have no chance against me, I'm not going to be judgmental at all, I'm not going to have any judgments about anybody. And you can go down that path and try it, sure, it sounds like it could work, but I've found that, you know, when you try and fight these things, you fight against the current, it doesn't really work, you know, you get pushed back down and it keeps coming, and then you feel worse off than you did before, because it's kind of like this trap where you're seeing yourself trapped and you're like, just get out, but you don't realize that you're actually stuck in there, seeing yourself stuck in. That was a really weird metaphor, and I don't know what it meant, but I hope it got across okay. Basically what I'm saying is that you can't pull yourself up with your own bootstraps, you know? And the best war is won without the opponent knowing that it's actually a battle, or that's actually a fight, that you're actually fighting. So just being neutral about it, you'll find that they become less and less and less, these judgments, and you'll find that you'll be able to connect more openly to other people, and you'll find that you'll actually be surprised talking to other people. Like, I'm shocked so many times, like I'll just be like talking to people and then I'm just like, oh yeah, whatever, it's just like this local customer or whatever that comes in all the time, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, so like my son had cancer and he died from this, and then you'll be like, whoa, and then all of a sudden you're like drawn into this story and you're like, wow, these people have had whole lives like I have, all this experience and all this knowledge of my past, and all these people have at least that or more, because most of them are much older than me. They could have double or triple the amount that I have stored up here of experiences. Doesn't mean they're more smart or more mature, but you can always kind of learn from other people, and I think that's a really nice and useful thing to kind of do, and it makes you feel a little bit less lonely, you know. And it takes time to kind of do these things, and I still don't do it all the time, and it's something that I should be doing more. Anyway, that was kind of these ideas that I had about judgmental, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. God, I can be weird sometimes.